Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandotnam to all devotees. So we are very fortunate to have with us today His Grace Kalacakra Prabhu. He is a very senior disciple of His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. Professionally, he is working for an IT company and he has been practicing Krishna Consciousness for the last 25 years. He was initiated by Maharaj ji in the year 2001 in Minneapolis and was personally trained by Maharaj to scrutinizingly study Srila Prabhupada's books, especially Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are very, very fortunate to hear from him to get more deeper insights and inspiration to read Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us all welcome by chanting Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu and Mataji. Hare Krishna, for joining this wonderful session that was so nicely organized and coordinated by Madhu Sevita Prabhu, Anandram Prabhu, and the team. I am really glad to be associating with you all. I am audible, right?
Yes, Prabhu, loud and clear.
So, yeah, I may be sharing some things on the screen, so I hope that is okay. The topic that I think very beautifully coined by Madhu Sevita Prabhu and Anandram Prabhu is that why to study Srimad Bhagavatam and how to scrutinizingly study Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, Prabhu, sorry. The topic itself is very nice actually, and it is worth meditating on, especially for devotees who want to be dedicated, in their those who are committed and dedicated in their lives. So I would like to share some insights into it, which I gathered from my spiritual master, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. Sorry, there's a little bit of technical thing here. I'm speaking for that. So now let's try to understand this thing. Let me pray the Mangalacharana prayers and then I'll proceed with the. Oh, Ajnanadimiradasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmeditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dattati Swapadantikam Pandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yatapadakamalav Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lankayate Girim Yatrupatamakham Mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Namo Vishnu Pada Vishnu Pada Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhu Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Bhattacharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya. So the topic is divided into two sections, or rather 2.5, I have to say, because we have the on the one side we have the why to study Srimad Bhagavatam, and the other side we have the how to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So when you come to how to study, it is actually still this also can be divided into two different sections. One is what is the mood which we should imbibe or inculcate to study, scrutinizingly study Srimad Bhagavatam, and the second part of it is what are the different methods or the various ways of releasing Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so many different ways you can release Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is so dynamic. So before we get to that, let's try to understand why we need to study Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, there are so many ways Prabhupada has really, given us the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first thing he did was, even without speaking a word, he showed us by translating Srimad Bhagavatam before even leaving the shores of India. And he did the first 2 cantos in 3 different volumes, and we know that we all have seen that such a beautiful picture of Srila Prabhupada with Lal Bahadur Shastri, where he so proudly presents it to the then Prime Minister, right? So that's one thing. And the second thing is how he was trying to distribute the message also, and how he was sitting in the Radha Damodar Mandir, Vrindavan, and trying to absorb himself deeply into the texts of Srimad Bhagavatam, and trying to, the only instruction that he got from a spiritual master again and again was to preach to the Western world in English. So he took this as the most important literature, and as all our Vaishnu acaryas are. And then he started writing commentaries on them, translating and writing commentaries on the various slokas. Now that is the first part. Even without telling us, he did so much. And then even in his lectures, in so many ways, he shared things. And even within Bhagavatam, there are so many slokas which tells us why we should study Bhagavatam. So we don't have to really go outside. That's the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. That whatever you want to know about Bhagavatam or outside world, everything is there. You just have to dig deep and unearth the nectar or the jewels. So I will share the screen and start sharing some points which be of use to you all. I had actually done one course or not course, I mean a seminar called Adhyatma Deepam, which some of the devotees attended from this congregation also, and it was actually so very nicely organized by different temples, and it was an 8-session course which covers this and also the basic topic, and also the various other aspects beyond this, above and beyond this 2 topic, why study Bhagavatam and how to study Bhagavatam. So I am sharing some things in a small, with very little time we have. I don't know how much time we would have. So I hope you are able to see my screen now. Is that okay? I study Srimad Bhagavatam is there. Okay, so
Yes, Prabhu.
let's go on from the. Thank you. So the first and foremost thing is Srimad Bhagavatam helps us achieve the basic quality of a devotee. That's all we all anchor for. Why we do the chanting? Why we do all this seva? Why we do say scripture, book distribution, etc., etc. Why do we do? Why do we really do? If you ask this question, there are only 2 things that Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, I think, in his bhajans says that Jiver Daya, Nama Ruchi, Sarva Dharma Sar. And these 2 important things, basically being merciful to all the jivas, not just human beings, all the jivatmas. And then Nama Ruchi, get more taste for chanting the holy names, taste for hearing the holy names, right? These 2 basic qualities are achieved by Srimad Bhagavatam. From Bhagavatam, we get the maximum to the possible extent. We can get that by the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Bhagavatam is recommended strongly by all the Vaishnava acaryas and by Krishna himself, right? So the next one, Okay, so this is one point. The next thing is Bhagavatam is actually non-different from Krishna. And hence studying Bhagavatam is non-different from associating with and serving Krishna. Right? This is actually this is the best seva that we can do. You know, in the shloka, if you all know Bhagavatam, in the 3rd chapter of 1st canto, there is a beautiful verse. You know, idam Bhagavatam nama puranam brahma samhitham uttama shloka charitam chakara bhagavan rishihi nishreyasaya lokasya dhanyam swastya yanam mahat. This is the only scripture that gives 3 things apart from Bhagavatam being non-different from Krishna. See, Puranam, Brahma Samhitam. Prabhupada writes so beautifully for that word-to-word translation. Brahma Samhitam is incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna. In other words, Krishna Swadama Pogate, Dharma Jnana Adibi Saha, Kalau Nashta Drishamesha, Puranartho Adunoditaka. See, this is the beauty which is not given to this unique position that is given to Srimad Bhagavatam, is not given to any other scriptures. What is that? That when Krishna is the sun. Krishna Surya Saman Maya Hai Andakar. Yahan Krishna Vahan Nahi Maya Radhika. So Krishna Swadama Upakate, when he was going back to his abode after all the duties that he has to be done, he completed it. Then he is going back, right? So all the Swadama Upakate, Dharma Jnana Adipihi Saha. Dharma, Jnana, etc., Vairagya, etc., Bhakti and all these things, where did they take shelter of? Because he is the reservoir of all these important qualities of our devotee. So what it says is Dharma Jnana Adibi Saha Kalau Nashta Drisham Yesha, seeing that the Kali Yuga is going to destroy all the good qualities, Purana Artha Adunoditaha. Just like now it is night for us. Sun is set already. But the sun is rising in the US side, Canada, US, those countries. So it's the same sun. Only that some are seeing the sun setting, some are seeing the sun rising. Same way, some are seeing Krishna setting, he is going back, and at the same time he is rising on the other side as Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is no difference, first of all, between Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna, Krishna is Bhagavatam. And that is why when we just like we look at the deities, Bhagavatam is actually mantra mukti. We have like Archa Vigraha and we have Charcha Vigraha. And the other way we say, like is the vichar. Is the best way to see Krishna in the form of literature, right? So this is why this is the first point, and the next points are that it gives us 3 things: Dhanyam, Swasti, Ayanam, and Mahat. Prabhupada says beautifully in this meaning that Dhanyam is fully successful, Swasti Ayanam is all blissful, and Mahat is all perfect. So all blissful, all successful, and all perfect. These 3 things only Bhagavatam can give, no other shastras can give. So we all want to be successful, we all want to be blissful, Anandamaya Abhyasa, we all want to be perfect. How do we achieve that? It's only through scrutinizing study of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the next point. See, all of these I am taking it from Bhagavatam only. They are not going anywhere outside. So what do you want to know about Bhagavatam is also inside Bhagavatam. What do you want to know about the world? The other world is also inside Bhagavatam. And what should not be done also is there in Bhagavatam. Everything is so beautiful. That's why it is Amala Puran, and it is all encompassing. And that is why next thing comes. The most important thing is Diva Jaya Namurichi. Now there is also one more thing. What is the other thing? There are people who are learned, who are knowledgeable, and they want to know more. They want to know more and more about Krishna. We are not talking about the dry Jnanis. We are talking about the Bhakta Jnanis. Bhakta Jnanis who have this eagerness to know more and more about Krishna, right? So for them also, the hankerings of the great learned men. Tamapyadabra Shrutavit Shrutam Vibho. This is Narad Muni's final instruction to Vyasadeva on why we should write Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the final thing that he says on why he should write. Because Vyasadeva was, after writing Mahabharata, after writing all the Vedas, after writing all the Upanishads and all the other Puranas, still he is despondent. Why? Because Narad Muni diagnoses his problem. That's why the cause of his despondency. What is that? Bhavata anudita prayam yasho bhagavato amalam yenai vasau na tushyeta manyeta darshanam kilam. This is 158. This is 158. This sloka is the first sloka Narada starts speaking when he arrives at the cottage of ashrama of Vyasadeva. So he says, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That which does not satisfy the senses of the Lord, it cannot satisfy anyone else. And that is why you have not been satisfied. It's such a beautiful thing, even in our devotional service. Why are we, after doing everything, why are we not satisfied? Why are we in anxiety? Why are we worried? Why are we feeling as if we have not done anything? Because we are not satisfied. We have done everything, but we are not satisfied. That is the best message that Bhagavatam brings out to us through Vyasadeva himself. The writer himself is teaching this. Here also, for the negativity side of it also, we are not going anywhere outside. We are inside Bhagavatam. The writer, the author himself is showing by his own example what is lacking. That is his Guru Maharaj is telling him. Spiritual master is coming and revealing to him. Right? So when he was in that position, Narada Muni comes and tells him, Bhavata anudita prayam. Almost you did not glorify. In Mahabharata you gave some here, some there. In your Vedas you gave indirectly you are doing. But directly and individually you have not given, exclusively you have not given a scripture where the Supreme Lord himself is glorified. He is the source of everything. For him you have not given any space. For everyone else you have given space. So Prabhupada asks a beautiful question in that purport. That which does not satisfy the author himself, how will it satisfy the audience? Right? The author must be satisfied. Then the audience will be satisfied. If he himself is disturbed, how will it satisfy the audience? So that is the best message we can get. Why Bhagavatam had to be written? To satisfy the hankering of the soul. Right? Whether it is a learned person or there are people mitigating those who are in miseries. And masses of common people are suffering. What can you do? Srimad Bhagavatam is the best way. When I say Srimad Bhagavatam, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, the methods of studying or distributing the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, the wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the way we can mitigate the miseries of the common man. Sanklesh, it last line is Sanklesh. Tomapyadabra shruta vishrutam vivoho samapyate yena vidambu bhutsitam prakyahi dukkair. Please prakyahi, please broadcast. Dukkair, muhur ardita atmanam. Dukkair, muhur ardita atmanam means again and again they are suffering from the same dukkha. And last line he says beautifully, Sanklesha nirvanam ushanti nanyatha. Sanklesha nirvanam ushanti nanyatha. There is no other way to mitigate this message. This is the only way that we have. So you please distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Vyasadeva wrote this Acarya Bhagavan Rishi. He started writing at the instruction of his spiritual master. Just like Vyasadeva wrote Bhagavatam on the instruction of his spiritual master Narada Muni, Srila Prabhupada wrote Bhagavatam in English on the instruction of his spiritual master, his Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And that's the reason it is so glorious. No other copies of Srimad Bhagavatam has come that is as famous or as scrutinizingly studied. Prabhupada said, my disciples will write books on my purpose. And is it not true? Today, devotees are writing just 4 lines of purport they take and they write a whole book on it. So much is inside this. How can someone who is a grahastha, who had responsibilities to do, he had business to work on, and his own family responsibility, everything, on top of it, where did he learn Sanskrit from? Where did he get the thing? He only met his spiritual master for 4, 5 times or 10 times maximum. That was a grahastha. He would not have had much time to spend with them. Where did he do this, all this? When did he find? That is why we got the best Acharya and the best Shastra. This both, no other thing have. There, some very rare society will have one of these. Almost always they don't have both. But we are the ones who have both the best of the Shastras in all the 3 worlds and the best of the Acharya in all the 3 worlds. That's why it is very important. So going forward, this is our famous verse, Dharma projita kaitavotra param nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Parairishwaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Takritabihi Shushrushabhe Statkshanat. Just give me 1 sec. Let me share that also. How do I control select, right? Oh, that I'm selecting. Sorry. Share this one and okay, now it should be. So I am quoting many shlokas, so let me just bring those out. I hope you are able to see the screen now.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right? Thank you. So this is why Bhagavatam is glorified in the very second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. Right? Now, the two things are combined here. Why to study is there, in this shloka, and how to study is also in this shloka. So how to study means you have to be fully pure in heart. Now the highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. That is Krishna, is reality. And such truth uproots the threefold miseries. So why to study Srimad Bhagavatam? To uproot the threefold miseries. Right? And next is this beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is in Kimva Parairishwaraha? What is the need of any of the scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively, this is how to study. How to study is also there. We should study submissively and attentively. Here the message of the Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge of the Supreme Lord is established in the sun. This is the way to study. To establish the Supreme Lord in our heart. What is the use of doing all the shlokas or all the services and all the things in the world if you are not able to establish Krishna firmly in our heart? When situation comes, are we remembering Krishna or are we remembering the problem? That is the question. Many times we are caught up in trying to solve the problem within our own capacity, but we don't understand that Krishna. Best way to solve this is submit ourselves to Krishna completely and leave him, let him do the job. Our job is to do seva, and his job is to solve our problems. That's how Arjuna and Vidura and Narad Muni and Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj and all these great Mahatmas, Mahajanas, they all showed us the practice, showed us in practice. So aim of devotional service is to establish Krishna firmly in our hearts. That is why we are studying Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the best way to achieve that. Next. Now coming to this next point. The narration of the transcendent pastimes of the Lord in Srimad Bhagavatam is directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Jiverdaya. This whole world is suffering. Dukkha muhuradita atmana. So the pastimes, the Krishna Katha, the Leelas and the pastimes and the Tattvas that is so beautifully narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam, the aim, the motive of Srimad Bhagavatam is to bring a revolution. Janataga Viplavo. It's impious lives. Everybody is suffering. Everybody is going through impious life. Every day in and day out, they are doing sinful. They are living a sinful life. How to? Only by creating a revolution we can bring transformation into the lives of this world's misdirected civilization, and that is the end block that is given by Srimad Bhagavatam. And we have seen it in practice. Those who were disciples of Srila Prabhupada in the early days also, they were all into all various different things, regulative principles. How is it that just by the touch of an acarya, purity of an acarya, and just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, as you know, if you want to know the mood in which Srila Prabhupada brought Bhagavatam to the West, we have to go through that bhajan, Markine Bhagavata Dharma. he will say in that one of the statements, he'll say that these words are transcendental and they are not different from you, Krishna. If this Bhagavatam enters into the ears of all these suffering souls, they will give up their passion and ignorance, the activities they are doing, passion and ignorance, and they will come up in their lives, and they will raise in their lives to the higher modes and become pure devotees. And what he said in Markandeya Bhagavatam, he showed in practice. That is what an acharya is. Prachar, whatever he is doing prachar, he shows it by achar. Okay, so this is the next important point. And then we see from the purport so beautifully Prabhupada writes in this 1.3.40. Let me bring it up here. So one of the most powerful purports. There are unlimited things to say here, Prabhu's Matajis, but we have to confine our time, so we just took some little few things here and there. See, Mahaprabhu himself declared Srimad Bhagavatam as a spotless sound representation of all knowledge. Bhagavatam Puranam Pramanam Prema Pumatoma. Right? There are selected histories in the devotees who are in direct contact with the Lord. See here, Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of Sri Krishna. It is therefore non-different from him. Now comes a beautiful thing. Now, okay, he's non-different from him. We are having the Archa Murti, we do Arati, we offer flowers, then we do Abhishekam, and then we do Pushparati and everything we do. Right? So, do you mean to say we can do all that to Srimad Bhagavatam? If you put, just imagine if you are pouring Abhishek water into Srimad Bhagavatam book, what will happen? Next day we cannot study. Or you are going and massaging Krishna's feet while doing the thing. You go and massage Bhagavatam, then papers will be squeezed. So we should not take it literally in that sense. But see how do you offer the same respect you offer to the Archa Vigraha, to the Charcha Vigraha? That is beautifully Prabhupada saying here. Should be worshipped as respectfully as you worship the Lord. Thereby we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. These are the two important things, how to study Srimad Bhagavatam. Why to study and how to study, both are there. We should worship as respectfully as we worship the Lord. That is how to worship. That is thing. And then thereby we can derive ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. The way we are decorating the Lord with flowers and dress and different colors and all that stuff, color dresses, etc. Same way we can worship the Lord through by carefully and patiently studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Like we did yesterday, Anandaram Prabhu, Sachinandan Prabhu, and Santosh Prabhu here. How we were like spending few hours together. It was such a blissful experience. We, at the end of it, our Sachinandan Prabhu said that Prabhu, I think we should have 2 sessions. We should not we should not have done this in 1 session only. I told him in the beginning, Prabhu, you will say this statement. And then we said, okay, let's try with the first 1 session of this, nice long session with a break, and how blissful it is. So that the Gauranga Prabhu made a very beautiful statement many years ago. He came to one of the programs and my spiritual master's disappearance day celebrations were there. So he came and said one thing very interesting, very beautiful statement. He said that in order to establish a relationship with someone, we have to spend sufficient time. The more time we spend with someone, the more our relationship will be more strongly established. Of course, familiarity breeds contempt, that's a different thing. But in a positive way, they're talking about, right? So he said that the more time you spend with Bhagavatam, the more time you will develop a relationship with that, the Sambandha. The more develop, like the Vigraha, you serve more, the more you develop the relationship with the Vigraha. You don't feel like leaving the deities. You want leaving the service to the deities, right? The more time, say the Mataji, they spend time cooking in the kitchen for the deities, the more they enjoy cooking. It's a difficult, it's a sacrifice to do all that for such long time standing in the heat and everything, but they do that so joyfully, isn't it? So that is why the more time we spend, that's why the patience is required. Because many times you cannot understand the concept so easily and directly. Like yesterday, because we were sitting patiently and reading Prabhu's we understood what is Agra book means, right? We understood that Pandava Prastha thing, what he is talking about. And then we understood the thing of why is a celebrated friend of Krishna, why is not a dear or best friend of Krishna. So many different things we understood because of our patience and careful. So my Guru Maharaj always used to say, you read in between the lines. So when I mentioned this in class in Vrindavan, the temple president, Grace Kalacakra Krsna Prabhu, after the class came out, so what do you mean by reading in between the lines? I was very curious to know, because normally we say this reading in between the lines. Actually, it means that we should understand the intent behind the text. When Prabhupada writes this text, he did not write just to get some name and fame or become like glorified as a great person or whatever. He wrote this with the one prime objective. What is that? To help the suffering souls get out of the miseries and come to this place where they can peacefully and joyfully perform devotional service to Krishna. That is the intent. One of the intents. Quite a few intents there which he has. So when we dive deeper, then those intents and those Prabhupada's heart is revealed. That's why he said, these purports are my transcendental ecstasies. He said, so if you want to understand, get into the heart of Prabhupada. The best way is to get into his books, his writings. So he says further, thereby we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. As God is all light, all bliss, and all perfection, so also Srimad Bhagavatam, we can have all the transcendental light of Supreme Brahman Shri Krishna from the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, provided it is received through the medium of the transparent spiritual master. And he gives the example of Srila Prabhupada Goswami, what he said about receiving the person Bhagavatam. I'm just skipping that just for the sake of time. So the last three lines are really amazing. One can derive from the study of the Bhagavatam all benefits that are possible to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. It carries with it all the transcendental blessings of the Lord Shri Krishna that we can expect from his personal contact. In other words, touching Bhagavatam is as good as touching Krishna, not as good as it is. And all the blessings that Krishna will come, just like when he enters the door and supposes, come on, what does you want? Dhruv Maharaj is asking, Prahlad Maharaj is asking. We don't, even before becoming such a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj or Dhruv Maharaj, is giving us his benedictions in the form of this sound vibration. So this is what Prabhu's Mataji's shloka is so very powerful. So these 2 points I have already covered in this slide. So this is some of the points about, I think not exhaustive, but the salient points are covered. Why we should study Srimad Bhagavatam. And once we study Srimad Bhagavatam, it covers all the aspects of study our Shastras. We don't have to go around and study. Okay, apart from Bhagavatam, is there anything else? There is nothing in this world that is apart from Bhagavatam. Whatever is there in this Shastric world, that is all there inside Bhagavatam. Wherever you go, it is inside Bhagavatam. You take CC, for example, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Every third or fourth verse is Srimad Bhagavatam. If you read through, you would have found out. There is a big episode. Inside that, every single time they speak some important shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam. So my spiritual master said, if you want to collect all the important shlokas of Bhagavatam, study Chaitanya Charitamrita. Every shloka that is quoted there is the most important shloka from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. You don't have to go anywhere else. Prabhupada is given n block. That is how we study Srimad Bhagavatam. And all other books are offshoot of Srimad Bhagavatam, like a small books, this book, medium-sized books, whatever that we are distributing to others. They are small steps to come to this glorious scripture, which is not different from Krishna. So, just wanted to share this point for this particular what do you call the topic. Before we go to the next topic, which is a little bit more involved, any questions, comments from the devotees here? If not, we can proceed further.
Yes, devotees, you can unmute yourselves. I had muted everyone.
Krishna, if someone has any questions, please feel free.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, to to get any doubts or anything, then you require a person, guru, no?
To get the doubts solved.
Yeah, something we get from the Prabhupada books and all, yes. But sometimes people can't understand Prabhupada books. So if they approach a person, we can get that knowledge, no? Like he is like a personal guru.
That's why in the purport Prabhupada says here very clearly, no, Prabhu. From the research, provided it is received through the medium of a transparent spiritual master, that Chaitanya's private secretary, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, advised all intending visitors who came to see the Lord of Glory to make a study of the Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavatam. That is Prabhupada. Frankly speaking, Prabhupada is person Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
And he is there in his books. He is his books. So, one thing is that, Prabhu, you just understand these words also, careful and patient study. Right? It is not that the subject matter is complicated, it is that we are complicated. We are complicated by the three gunas.
Yes.
Our karma. Kala, karma, guna, adino, deho, yam panchabhautika. This panchabhuta has covered our body. Right? Provided we are, see, our body is there, so hunger is there, sleep is there, we feel sleepy. Provided we are out of this bodily restrictions, we can continuously study without any break, and then we will get our problem solved or our questions cleared. But unfortunately, because of these breaks, now we have all these WhatsApps and Facebooks and this and that. So what we do is interrupted devotional service. We do motivated devotional service and interrupted devotional service. With these two things, we cannot expect all the answers. What does it say? Savai kumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhok sachi akai tuki apratihata. Uninterrupted and unmotivated. And Prabhu, honestly speaking, we can't get transformed into this state overnight.
Yeah.
From motivated and interrupted to unmotivated and uninterrupted. It needs to be done through a regular and with a lot of determined endeavor.
Yes.
Our determination will be tested. But then without austerity, devotional service cannot be done. As Krishna tells to Brahma, Atmaham, Atmaham tapaso nagar. The penance, austerity and penance you did is nothing but me. I am penance. So similarly, we should also be ready to do the penance, and then things will be clear to us. Is that clear, Prabhu?
Yeah, our effort is must, then otherwise not possible that
yes,
we can
yes. And there is one other beautiful sloka towards the end of Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amatam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsya Mekam Amatam Jnanam Param Dhyate. See, it is Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. If we call ourselves Vaishnavas, Bhagavatam should be the most dear scripture for us. We cannot say that we are Vaishnavas and we are ignoring Bhagavatam. That is totally two opposite ends of the spectrum. Can't happen. Right? Yeah. Not only for the devotees, even for Paramahamsas, it is the best. They accept that as the best knowledge because they are after Jnana, and Bhagavatam is the best source of Jnana for all these Paramahamsas also. And not only that, what all things it gives? Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmya Mahavishnu Jnana Vairagya Bhakti, and on top of it, one more extra bonus, that is Naishkarmya. All these things en bloc they are given through the careful and patient study of Srimad Bhagavatam. And all these three are about why to study. The last line tells how to study. Tachurunvan supatan tichar and aparo bhaktya vimuchye naraha. It does not only tell how to study, why to study, it also tells the end result of this activity. This is one thing you did not add in your thing. What is the outcome of these two? If you ask this one sloka is enough to cover all your topic. Shunvan, first we hear. Prabhupada is there, he will hear. Second is Supatan. After hearing from him, we do deeper scrutinizing study. Scrutinizing study means what? You go back and forth, try to go here, and try to understand. I said, read in between the lines, try to get into the heart of Prabhupada. That is not some gymnastics that you are doing. The more time we spend, the more Dadami Buddhi Yoga. Krishna will give us the intelligence by which we can go closer to him. Right? So this is the Srinvan Supatan, but the last thing is Vicharana Paru. This is where the real test is. Vicharana Paru. What are introspection? Introspect. What is wrong with me? How can I correct it? How will this help me in my in fixing my problems? Right? When we have these kind of questions, because we are Atato Brahma Jignasa, we are by default we are inquisitive by nature, and Bhagavatam satisfies the inquisition of all our inquiries basically. No other scripture in the world that can satisfy has answers to all our inquiries. So I hope that helps, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So what I hint from Prabhuji's question was, do we require anybody else than Prabhupada, like Shiksha Guru, Diksha Gurus, who can really help us to get more taste? So can you, or Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam is sufficiently enough that we can completely rely on?
Sorry, Prabhu, I'm muting. Actually speaking, there is no one else needed. For us, Prabhupada is not only for us, for the whole world, only Prabhupada is. There's nothing needed.
You like we may be of little alpa buddhi, so we want to require more sort of help. So therefore,
what buddhi?
Maybe we are having a less intelligence, so therefore we may require some more person who can make it more easier for us. So if it's something like that. Everything is easy, but only our approach is.
Prabhu, see, you just see in 1960s, what kind of people Prabhupada gave up? They had no idea of the Sanskriti. They don't know Sanskrit. They don't know what the hell Prabhupada was doing to them. All they were eating was rasgullas and roti dal thing, and gulab jamuns and all that. And whatever Prabhupada was speaking, how did it get into their heads? If they can get what Prabhupada speak, what Prabhupada spoke, what's wrong with us? There is really no Kimva Pare Rishwara. What is the need of any other scripture? Similarly, what is the need of any other acharya? In other words, you are not putting down the other acharyas. You are not minimizing the other acharyas. Frankly speaking, any other sampradayas also. I know many friends of Shri Sampradaya and Madhu Sampradaya. They had no idea of their own sampradaya. When they got in touch with Prabhupada, they understood the greatness of their sampradaya and then went back to their sampradaya. So, Prabhupada is the is all-encompassing acharya who brings to us all the acharyas. So we don't have to, it's not that, just like you worship Krishna, all the devatas are automatically satisfied. Same way you worship Prabhupada, all the acharyas are automatically satisfied. What's wrong? Right? Yes, a few days ago, Shivaratri was there. He glorified Shivaratri. So we glorified Lord Shiva on Shivaratri day. Everywhere. In ISKCON, he's a Vaishnava Metta song. Same way, when Bhaktivedanta Thakur's appearance day comes, glorify Bhaktivedanta Thakur. And then you carry on with Prabhupada. Right? When Prabhupada is glorified, all the acharyas are glorified. There is nothing that stops us. And we don't have to go and take shelter of anyone else. Anyone else who is doing proper devotional service, they are actually doing nothing but just following Prabhupada. My Guru Maharaj used to say that we are not Prabhupada's fanatics, but unfortunately, there is no one else other than Prabhupada. What can you do?
No parallel.
No parallel. So, any other questions?
One more
Hare
question.
Krishna Prabhuji, done with Pranav.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Can I ask?
So, Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada
Who is
used to
asking now? Prabhu, you are asking or on Mataji?
Mataji, you can ask.
Because I am
Yeah.
just, sorry, Mataji, yes, go ahead.
So, Srila Prabhupada used to say that the study of Bhagavad Gita is a graduate study, and the study of Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study. So then, does this mean that we have to first thoroughly study and understand the Bhagavad Gita before we attempt to study the Bhagavatam?
You have completed your college and all, right, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay, so have you seen smart students who, when they are in the first year, they will get the seniors' notes and start preparing for the future semesters or whatever exam? Have you seen that? Their holidays, they will start studying, preparing for the. They will not wait for the teacher to come and give them the specific syllabus. Right? They will prepare for it ahead of time, isn't it?
Yes.
Have you seen that? There are those who are like always top rankers. They will do that, right? So we can do like that. While studying Bhagavad Gita, you carry on with Bhagavatam. There is, see, one thing I will tell you. If somebody is saying I have finished Bhagavatam, there is nothing. There is not a greater. How should I put it in the most mildest way? You know.
You don't have to be mild, Prabhu.
There is no greater foolish statement than that. Because on the one hand, we are saying Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita are non-different from Krishna. And we are every day we are saying Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. He has no beginning, no end. So Bhagavatam should have no beginning and no end. If you are saying Bhagavatam has end, then Krishna has end. If Krishna has end, then we have definitely end. So I mean to say, you know, it's a lifelong shastra for us. So you don't have to say that I will finish Bhagavad Gita and then I will start Bhagavad. So my Guru Maharaj used to say, those who say, you know, I will finish Bhagavatam, the first thing Bhagavatam will do is Bhagavatam will finish them. So because you know, Bhagavatam, Krishna and time, all three are not different. So the more you are with Bhagavatam, the more time you will have. That is the thing, you know. We once you get into Bhagavatam, Krishna and Bhagavatam manages our life. There's no need to worry about anything else. So just study Bhagavatam, study Bhagavad Gita. Like we saw Mataji here, Shweta Mataji, she was doing their Mataji's class. They have Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all three of them they are doing together. So you can always do 2 verses of Bhagavad Gita in the morning, or 2 verses of Bhagavatam in the morning, 2 verses of Bhagavad Gita in the evening. And combine the two. One simple thing I will tell you, my Guru Maharaj said something very interesting. He said, what Krishna says in Bhagavatam, he shows in. So what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he shows in Bhagavatam. Every single verse of Bhagavad Gita, you can map it to an episode in Bhagavatam, how it is to be practiced.
So that is why probably we need to study the Bhagavad Gita first, so that we can correlate better with what Lord Krishna is trying to show us.
Yeah. But you know, in maths you have the formula and then you have the problem solving. So formula, you don't keep on by hearting, you know, A plus B, learning by heart, A plus B square, A plus B square. After that you have to apply it. So somebody is applying it, you just take his thing, and then the real relief comes when you actually apply it and solve the problem, isn't it? So that's why it's like you start to relish Bhagavad Gita more when you start to enjoy Bhagavatam. Like yesterday we discussed, we saw the best glorification of Bhagavad Gita inside Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam doesn't glorify any other scripture except Bhagavad Gita. All other scriptures glorify Bhagavatam. Why? Because the king is glorified. Bhagavatam is Grantaraj. So king has to be glorified by everybody. King doesn't go around and glorify every single person. Right?
Yes, Lord. Yes.
Actually, Prabhu, I need to tell you one thing that, you know, the second part cannot be covered today. But I think this is a good discussion. Better let's do this part alone. And Krishna willing, tomorrow evening, if you want to have, or some other time you want to have, we can do the second part. Otherwise, you will do injustice to that topic.
Most welcome, Prabhu.
Madhusek Prabhu.
Most welcome,
Sorry, I'm just putting this as a request.
Definitely, Prabhu. Most welcome. You can take the whole week actually if you want. We are studying Bhagavatam only. We'll be very fortunate to.
Thank you for accommodating my lack of time since. We can continue with more questions if devotees have more questions, because I like questions.
Yes, so please, devotees, Anu Mataji, you can also ask your question now.
I think Master has raised the hand.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Prabhuji, so sometimes some of the teachings that we get from Bhagavatam, considering the current situations, some of the teachings seems hard to apply in practical life. Then how do you take the full benefit of these nectars, knowing that you want to do it, but they seem so hard to apply? How do you go from there?
Mataji, this is something where we need to understand that this is our scriptural thing. Scriptural study has to be done in the way Bhagavad Gita shows us. The famous shloka, no? Machitta Madhata Prana Bodhayantaha Paraspara Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Charamati. This is the only shloka in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Krishna talks about association with devotees. Entire 700 slokas. This is the only shloka that tells about the science of associating with devotees. And what you do? Bodhayantaha Paraspara. So when I am not able to understand, I sit and study with another devotee. Maybe he will have the answer, or she will have the answer. So that is where studying as a group, a sangha, is very important. Discussing in group. Yesterday we did the same thing, or every time we do the same thing when we go wherever we go. There are times when you won't have devotee association. That Bhagavatam says both ways. One side it says you be alone and study Bhagavatam. Eka eva chare tasmad kaumarim kankanaha. Because too many people means there will be a lot of unnecessary discussion also. Some misunderstandings or different opinions coming up. All kinds of things can come up. Whenever especially when the group is immature. When the group is mature, their focus is one, that is to glorify Krishna through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, through study of Bhagavatam. Then the motive itself is in a positive way, right? So something which I study, I may not know, but I can always get an answer from another. So we can do discussion, charcha. That's why it's called charcha vigraha. So always have both things running in parallel. One is we need to have our quiet corner with Krishna through study of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. That Maharaj always said one thing, that always have a quiet corner in your home where you shut off all the disturbances, and whether it is 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever time it may be. You just be with Krishna alone. And that will give you all the taste and the sweetness that you are looking forward with the association of Krishna. So that is one side. And the another side also is very important, that is the Bhakta Sangha. In the Sangha, when we discuss, so Prabhupada writes beautifully in the purport for 3:25:25, Satan Prasangan Mama Vira Samvido Bhavanti Hritkarna Rasayana Katha. In the shloka, he says association with devotees means association with the Lord. This is the best definition of association of devotees. Association with devotees means associating with the Lord. In other words, the experience of associating with devotees should give you the experience of associating with the Lord. If that is not happening in the name of devotee association, we have had something else, as black and white as that.
Beautifully explained, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Haribol. And if I can ask one more question, Prabhuji. You said
yes,
it's
please,
mantra. Bhagavatam is actually mantra.
Mantra Murti. Yeah.
Mantra Murti.
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, would you mind elaborating mantra Murti means?
Like, we have the Archa Murti, we have Utsava Murti. In South India, they have this, they take the Lord in a position, it's called Utsava Murti. We have the Archa Murti, Pratishtha Murti. We say, establish the Lord who is done the Pratishtha ceremony, right? Same way, he has different forms. Murti means form. This Murti, Mantra Murti word is actually spoken by Narad Muni in Bhagavatam. Niti Murti Abhidanena Mantra Murtim Amurtikam. He cannot be conceived, but he presents himself in the form of a Murti. So in the form of these various mantras, like the Bhagavad Gita shlokas, Bhagavatam shlokas, Hare Krishna mantra, these are all mantras. Prabhupada says in one of the purports that I will share with you next time. So he says that these are all non-different actually. Every shloka in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are equally potent as Hare Krishna mantra. So when you chant, you should recite, you should sing. That is why Bhagavatam is sung, not read. When you recite the shlokas, we sing the shlokas. So we get the what do you call that? The bhav, the real connection with the shloka when you sing it. And that chanda is a huge shastra, which is a totally different ocean by itself. That you will not touch, but more to do with the study part will cover.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna ji. Done with
Hare
Maharaj
Krishna.
ji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask it also?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
So probably many times devotees they do recitation of Bhagavad Gita and recitation of Bhagavatam verses, and there are some set of devotees like I may be wrong also, then that's why I'm asking that. So I feel like we have to study Bhagavatam. To study Bhagavatam, we have to focus on the translations and the purports more intensely. So what approach of studying Bhagavatam would be more appropriate?
Thank you, Prabhu. Beautiful question. All this looks like we will have to cover a new course of Adhyatma Deepam by itself, because all your questions are addressed there. Prabhu, there are different ways of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. The ways of studying Srimad Bhagavatam, methods of studying. That's how the how to study part comes. And it's like, you dress the Lord in different ways. You decorate the Lord in different ways. So it's like that. Because the shlokas are recitation. The shlokas are not every akshara. Chaitanya Prabhu tells to Sanatana Goswami. Every akshara of Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. It is Krishna himself. Which means you enjoy the singing. When you sing the Lord's, the shlokas, which are glorifying the Lord, or anything from Srimad Bhagavatam, you enjoy singing. And that is enjoying Krishna. Then just like you sing kirtans and you enjoy, right? So that way you like same way you enjoy kirtan. Many times we would take kartal, and in fact to that extent that my spiritual master would make us recite the translation also in raga. Translation is in English or Hindi, whatever. But he would play the kartal and would say, Prabhupada translations are not different from slokas thing, so let's sing the translation also. And the same raga, if you sing the sloka, you sing the translation also. What I mean to say is everything in Bhagavatam is equally potent. So recitation is something which will, it will help us get that attachment to the mantra form of the Lord, and that Sanskrit sound vibration, Prabhu, I will tell you, because my Maharaj is a Sanskrit scholar also. He said that the Sanskrit recitation has such a hypnotic effect that it is inevitably lost in translation to any other language. The Sanskrit slokas and mantras, they have a hypnotic effect. You don't understand Suprabhatam. You don't understand Vishnu Sahasranam. You don't understand Samsara Dava also many times, right? All these other things. But when you hear, don't you think you enjoy? Why Sanskrit has that effect? You may not have the same enjoyment in English or other languages. Of course, to some extent in our the derivatives of Sanskrit and those languages you get. So that is about the recitation.
Small catch over here is like we all are so much novice in Sanskrit pronunciation, so we are unable to pronounce it. So definitely the taste for reciting also doesn't come, because some important aspects also need to be taken care of. So if it is sung in the pronunciation of Sanskrit is there, then we can really relish the recitation. Elsewise, for a person like me, I'm not able to relate the recitations at all. So initially it looks, for some time I derive taste, but after some time I lose it, because I'm able to appreciate more what Prabhupada has written in English, because unfortunately from the childhood the touch of English is.
So my Guru Maharaj used to say this other side of the statement also. He said, with all due respect to Srila Vyasadeva, Srila Prabhupada's purports and translations are more sweeter than the actual verse itself. So, I mean, this is to hold on. This is to answer your one part of the question only. But I will tell you, Prabhu, Sanskrit is the most easiest to repeat. It's so scientific a language that's very easy to repeat just simply by hearing. You cannot do that with any other language. But Sanskrit, you just hear for 10 times, you will get it, isn't it? Damodarashtakam I will learn by heart. You keep hearing and you speak, you sing it, isn't it? Shesha, anything that for that matter. You think no. Why? Because it has that quality, the transcendental quality in it, because it's Deva Bhasha. Just by hearing, you can start repeating without even understanding, without even knowing the language. So it is not that we cannot, it's just that we need to know the science, that's all. It is very simple also. In that our course, we have covered a detailed section for the how to sing, or how to identify which slokas to sing in which tune, etc. And we also have in our the app which we had created, in that an entire Bhagavatam is being recited by one of our devotees, so that you can know the tune in which you have to sing. So many times you just keep hearing Prabhu, repeatedly you hear it, sits in your heart. And it sits in your heart so much that for the whole lifetime you will not forget. That is how it is. So it is possible, Prabhu. Just I want to give a brief answer. But don't lose heart at anything. I don't know to sing Sanskrit. I don't know this the science. Everything comes very easily. Prabhu, those who didn't even have an idea of our culture, they are reciting so many slokas. You know Vaisheshika Prabhu, right? His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu. He is from the Western countries. But the kind of slokas that he recites is very difficult. I'll just give one example. Many such devotees are there. His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu. He is a Prabhupada disciple too. He lives in Vrindavan. He is a he is from say the Western near Los Angeles or Seattle. There, I know him. So he is so perfect in his science, the science of science, science of music, science of dance. Everything is so perfect. He can recite slokas so perfect. How did they learn all this? They are not from this our culture, but they could get it, isn't it? So it is not something which we cannot do, Prabhu. We can do. Just some little effort is required. And then Krishna says what? Yatantascha dridhavrataha. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Yatantascha dridhavrataha. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityakta upasat. You just have to do little bit of yatantascha dridhavrataha. Then he gives the dadama buddhiyo. Okay. So if you find it difficult, Prabhu, as a group, you go and just hold. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
you have any other?
Yeah, one more question. We as it came like we have Archa Vigra and we have Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So many times devotees tell that it is so difficult to read. We can do much nice service of the deities than reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. It becomes very difficult. So then how to understand if not doing this, can we just do deity worship and progress in spiritual life?
Yeah, we can always do deity worship and progress, Prabhu. But what will you do after 9 o'clock when the deities are put to rest? You can't do anything to the deities at that time, right? Or in the afternoon, 12:31 to 4, or when they are taking bhoga, what would you do?
So are you hinting like we can do 24 cross seva with Srimad Bhagavatam, but 24 hours non-stop we can do seva with Srimad Bhagavatam, but with deities we have to follow the time.
When you travel, how can you do deity seva? You are in the train, you are in the flight, how can you do deity seva? When you are walking, going for a morning walk, how can you do? So, I mean, just giving an idea, but frankly speaking, Krishna has come in the form of Nama Rupa and Bhagavata Rupa, Shabda Rupa. See, this Shabda Rupa helps us understand or realize the Swarupa form of the Lord. You understand? Through the Shabda Rupa, you can appreciate and relish the Swarupa form. Without, through Bhagavatam is giving such a nice description of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj had not seen the Lord. But the description that Narad Muni gave to him, with that he formed the mental picture of the Lord and he worshipped to that Lord, and within 6 months he caught him. Prahlad Maharaj never saw Krishna, but he did devotional service. How? Because of the Bhagavatam Jnana that Narad Muni gave him, isn't it? So there are times when you will not be able to see the form of the Lord. This thing. Narad Muni is the best example. What was he was given a flash? Krishna gave him a flash and went away. And he is telling also on top of it, adding more key to the fire. What is it? What is it telling? That I regret that this in this lifetime you will not see anymore. At least like this you go to the astrologers, they will say for 12 years you will have bad time, and after that it will be all right. He says whole life is bad time for you. Only one glimpse, and he said, no more I will show you. Then what did he do? Narad Muni. That is the best thing to understand. I'm sorry, I'll just take a couple of minutes to share with you his story, what he is saying. It's very important to know these things from the pages of Bhagavatam, the intricate details. So what does he tell here in 1622, he says that 1621 he says, "Oh Narada, I will share. I don't have the screen share. Anyway, it's okay. I will read it. Oh Narada, the Lord spoke. I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me." He's saying in 1621. And next shloka he says, "Oh virtuous one, you have only once seen my person. And this is just to increase your desire for me. Because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be free from all material desires." Then he says, by service of the absolute truth, even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me. Consequently, he goes on to become an associate in the transcendental world after giving the present deplorable material worlds. Then he says, intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time, even at the time of creation, as well as at the time of annihilation. Your remembrance will continue by mercy. With this, Krishna stops and leaves. This is all Krishna spoke to him. In other words, he did not give him any promise that you will see me anymore. This is the last moment that you are seeing, how much ever you try. Then what did Narada Muni do is more important for us to understand. Next two slokas. Then that supreme authority, 1625 I'm reading, personified by sound and unseen by eyes, is personified by sound, Nabolingam, but unseen by eyes. He can't be seen like any other person. But most wonderful, stopped speaking. He stopped speaking, that's all. First he stopped his vision, the darshan, then he stopped the speaking also. Feeling a sense of gratitude, I offered my obeisances unto him, bowing my head. So he is feeling grateful to Krishna that you have given me this transcendental. What is that transcendental thing? Then following that instruction, what does Narad Muni do is the best thing. Amanyanantasya hatatrapah patan guhyani badrani krutani chasmaran gam paryatan tushtamana gatasprugha kalam pratikshan vimado vimatsaraha. This is the best way to attack Krishna. Narad Muni actually defeated Krishna by his own words. This is the way to understand this section. What does he do? He says, you said you cannot show me. Sir, you cannot show yourself to me. Huh? But you cannot stop me from seeing you. You got the difference? You said that you will not show me your darshan, but I can see your darshan through your sound vibration. Namani Anantasya, through your all the Nam, Guna, Leela, etc. I can see you constantly. How will you stop me? You cannot hold my mouth. And this is the thing that Krishna wanted to hear from Narad Muni. That's why he said, I stopped speaking. Hatatrapa Patan. This is the thing. The waiting time is the preaching time. From today till our last moment, this is our waiting time. We are waiting our time to fit and change the body. And this duration is our preaching time. In that preaching, you see Krishna. And the preaching you do by Shravanam and Kirtan. What did he do? He kept on chanting the glory names of the Lord. And wherever he went, Nam Paryatan, he went to different places. Tushtamana, completely satisfied. Tataspraha, no touch of material enjoyment. Kalam pratikshan, I was waiting for my moment to quit my body. But that waiting time was my preaching time. I went everywhere, I was going around and preaching the holy name, distributing the holy names. And in that process, I was seeing Krishna all the time. So Krishna can stop others from seeing, Krishna can stop himself from showing to others, but he cannot stop others from seeing him. So that is the power of sound vibration. I wanted to say this. I hope that helped your question. So this is the beauty about our Shabda Rupa form of Krishna. He can present himself in all times and places. No, na niyamitaha smaranena kala. Right? I hope that helped.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Madhusarita Prabhu, I will leave it to you if there is any further questions or any other.
So if any other devotee has any questions, you can please ask. Otherwise, Prabhuji would be here again with us tomorrow to continue the next part of this presentation. But it was simply fantastic, Prabhu. I mean, this presentation was like much more than what we had expected. So we are more than eager. We are waiting more eagerly for tomorrow's part also to come.
I am eager to associate with you.
And we are more than happy to look forward to seeing your having your session again and again with us.
Thank you.
So just to give you a brief background of our group, Prabhu, we are devotees from 3 different countries.
Okay.
We have devotees from Canada, Finland, and India, all coming together and from different temples, different places. 2 years ago, we started this. It just started off as a small venture for reading Bhagavatam on Sundays.
Okay.
And it became Saturday and Sunday. Then it eventually, Corona came and it became every day.
That's how Bhagavatam expands in our lives, Prabhu.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah,
Now we have received mercy of devotees like you, Prabhu, so we can definitely see that Prabhupada is happy with us and he's sending more blessings on our way. More Bhagavatam in our lives.
I think he's happy with me too. He gave your association also.
So we are very blessed to have your association. Yesterday we had a long chat with Anandram Prabhu also regarding, and he was explaining how deeply you have given the meanings of Bhagavatam. So we are very, very happy, Prabhu. So
thank you.
We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, Prabhu, and much more after that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
And regarding the course you are talking about, Prabhu, can you please briefly tell 2 words about what exactly is it?
Prabhu, it is basically designed to help devotees relish Bhagavatam and understand the deeper, basically the same thing which you asked, how to study and why to study, and beyond that, the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam in our lives, and the various study methods which we can follow for individual study as well as group study, and then the lifestyle that changes that Bhagavatam brings in, and then also how to reconcile the various apparent contradictions in the scriptures. What are the ways and means to do it? So the various topics in N block is covered. So it's like a 6 to 8 sessions course. Actually, it's not a course. I keep using this word course. It's not a course. It's a seminar where we can have an interactive discussion. It's an interactive seminar basically, like how we did today. Basically, that's all. And so it covers all these different topics. In fact, the pamphlet which I forwarded to Anandaram Prabhu, did you forward it to Madhusarita Prabhu? That has all the details about the seminar. And we had given this to a few temples, Prabhu, like the Pune, Delhi, Dwarka, and then the Manchester, Bangalore, a few temples. Since that the concept is designed, quite many of them are welcomed and they were asking for more of it. So if you think that you have some time since you are not doing a regular thing, maybe week or two can do that with yourselves. You can discuss and see whatever is your convenience. Accordingly, we can plan it out, Prabhu. My only thing is I am occupied till the end of the month. After that, maybe we can do it in 2 weeks. Maybe we can spread it across 2 weeks from Monday to Friday like that. We will have a little bit more buffer time if we have the extra session, because I always found that the kind of questions that people ask, the kind of realization that come up with,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, your video has frozen and audio also. This course in April. Spring awakening.
I think some internet issue has happened. I'm just sitting beside Prabhuji only.
Okay, so Prabhu, we can then plan for April then definitely if you're busy till this month end.
You can, you are able to speak, or you can speak on my phone. One minute, Prabhu. You can speak on this. It's okay. It will take more time on that.
So, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Sorry, Prabhu, our internet got frozen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu, you were saying something. You got interrupted.
I was saying that you can internally discuss and we can decide the time when and how do you want to do it. I will ask Anandaram Prabhu to forward the pamphlet details to you, which was covered earlier. If you want to customize it a bit or whatever, you can go ahead and do it and see what Krishna wants.
Sure, Prabhu, that'll be fantastic. So I think because we have like 3 different geographies separated by 7-8 hours, so we'll just work out some appropriate time schedule, and then we'll connect with you again.
What is coming? No.